All right, the Senate planning to address the debt ceiling and tax reform after they return from the August recess. Joining us are Senator James Risch of Idaho and Senator Shaheen of New Hampshire, the chairman and ranking member of the Senate Small Business Committee. In a rare display of bipartisanship, they want a tax reform bill that helps small businesses on Main Street. Welcome to you both. Let me begin, Senator Risch, with your response to what John Harwood just reported, and that is that Mick Mulvaney of OMB says that the administration is now, and he is now, on board with the idea of a clean debt ceiling raise, i.e. not attached to any spending cuts or other things. Your reaction?
Well, the White House is 16 blocks away, and things are a lot different down here than they are up there. I appreciate their feelings. When we get back, we're going to have to wrestle with this, and before anybody draws a line in the sand, I think it's appropriate that we talk about this and negotiate on it. I just want to correct one thing. You said a rare display of bipartisanship. Look, you're looking here at a Republican, Democrat, two former governors. We work together on the Small Business Committee. Almost nothing we do on the Small Business Committee is full of partisanship. Helping small businesses thrive is not a partisan thing. 2 out of every 3 jobs that are created by small business. They are truly what makes the engine of our economy move. We're both committed to see that small businesses do as well as they can.
I take your point. Let's call it a happy example of bipartisanship then.
I like it.
Much better.
I like it.
But let me come back, Senator, if I might. It sounds like you're not as convinced as the White House is that a clean debt ceiling is the way things are going to evolve. Did I hear you correctly?
I wouldn't put it exactly that way. What I would say is that discussion is barely getting started here. Look, we just went through the healthcare thing. People are tired. This was a very difficult exercise. We got some heavy lifting to do on the debt ceiling and other things. We've got the full funding coming up before October 1st. We got a lot of things we got to work on when we come back. This is just starting, so I don't want to start laying out parameters here that I can't get out.
Cool.
But one of the things that we're talking about is tax reform and how it can help small businesses.
Right.
And the fact is, we want to see a bipartisan approach to that. As Senator Risch said, we work very closely together. Yesterday, we had 6 bills go through the Small Business Committee, and they all passed unanimously. So this is an effort that we think is best done together.
Forgive me for interrupting, and I want to get you, Senator Shaheen, and then Senator Risch, to pinpoint one of the key areas in tax reform that apparently you guys both agree about, and that is the so-called Section 179 matter, which involves when small businesses can deduct the cost of investments in their business. Talk to me about that and why that is one of these places where you guys agree.
Well, we had a hearing not too long ago with representatives from small businesses talking about tax reform. And they said a couple of things about their challenges. One is that compliance is one of the biggest concerns they have. 89% of small businesses have to go outside to get help with doing their tax returns. That needs to change. We need to simplify the tax forms for small businesses. They said expensing, as you point out, the Section 179 is a place where they think we could really help them if we can make it easier for them to expense their investments. So those are 2 areas that we heard a lot of unanimity on from small businesses and from members of the committee.
Senator Risch, it's Brian Sullivan. I want to pin you down a little bit more on this. Have you talked to any of your colleagues on the House side about when they might actually get a bill on tax reform and actually put it to a vote? Do we have a timeline?
The short answer is no. I know they have some objectives that they'd like to meet, some goals they'd like to meet, but look, I can't underline this enough. How healthcare has really sucked all the oxygen out of the air in the room, and
was it a mistake to go after healthcare first before tax reform, in your opinion?
I think you could argue that either way. You could make an argument on that either way. That was a judgment call. Leadership made the judgment call. I'm certainly not going to criticize it. But again, I know everybody wants answers, particularly when it comes to what the spending is going to look like, what a tax reform package is going to look like, what the debt ceiling is going to look like. But look, we're just starting these discussions, and you know, there's some healing that needs to go on. We need a little bit of time to go by, but people are starting to talk about that. Fair enough, Gene?
They are. And again, I think people are talking about the need to go through regular order in the Senate, to have committee hearings, to listen to what people have to say, to listen to the experts, and then to work together in a bipartisan way. That's what the American people want, and I think that's what the majority of our colleagues want.
I think that's true, and also, if you want to look back at this, health reform, when it was done, with all due respect, in 2009, it wasn't done through regular order. When we did it just now, we didn't do it through regular order. Neither one of them worked very well. I think everybody's in agreement on it.
Time to change that.
All right, well, this is such a happy conversation. I'm loving this, guys. Tell me a couple of the other areas where the two of you agree on tax reform, and then pinpoint maybe an area where you don't agree. Senator Shaheen, go first.
Well, again, I talked about the compliance piece, simplifying the tax code. That's one of the things that we've heard from small businesses. You know, pass-throughs, again, that's a place where a lot of small businesses are pass-through entities. We have to see the details of what that will actually look like. It's one of the things that the president, the administration's proposal talked about. So I don't know that we can agree or disagree at this point because we haven't seen the details.
Senator Risch, same question to you. We'll run a little short on time.
Just very briefly, look, both of us are trying to pull the wagon together to help small businesses. If there's any disagreement, we haven't discovered it yet. I have no doubt we will, but we'll get through it. We work together well, and we'll keep it moving forward.
Final question to both of you, since you both were governors. Which job do you like more, senator or governor?
Listen, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
So we're here because we care about the country, and we want to try and make sure we can have a future for our children and grandchildren.
Which was harder, Senator Risch?
If I had a nickel for every time I was asked that question, I'd be wealthy right now. But look, they're different jobs. One's an executive job, one's a legislative job. They both have pluses and minuses, like everything that you do. I wouldn't trade either one of them, to be honest with you.
And you guys are going on recess. I thought y'all were going to stay through August. That changed, right?
We're going home.
Yeah,
we
I
have
wouldn't
a lot
call
of
it
work to do
recess.
at
Yeah,
home.
I've got 6 offices I have to visit around Idaho, so I wouldn't call it as much a recess. A recess from D.C., yes. And I think, you know, I led our state senate for over 20 years. I know when a legislature needs time away. This legislature needs time away.
That's right.
They really do.
Mental health break, perhaps, after the last couple of weeks,
Senators, thank you very much for your time. Senator
Thank
Risch,
you.
Senator Shaheen, appreciate it.